welcome to Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's garbage people and look at all the trashiest news stories. My name is Erica, and I'm your host.
My name is Cassandra, and I'm your other host. Do you ever start and then you think, why is there so much dust in this one part of my desk? I should wipe that off right now. But then it's like, if I do that, I'll make noise. But then if I don't do it, I'm not going to be able to focus.
Yes, it's the if you give a mouse a cookie of ADHD.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that ADHD? Is that what's happening to me?
I don't know, but yes, it's like if I don't finish this task right now, we won't be able to do anything else.
Yeah, that happens to me sometimes when I read audiobooks or like listen to audiobooks, and I'm like, I need to do this because I've now missed the past 6 minutes of this book thinking about it.
Yes, I listen to a lot of podcasts while I work, and I listen on 1.5 to 2 speed. And so got to, because I'm like, I've got no time. I've got to get through this. And that's just how my brain vibrates. And so I'll be bopping along, and then 15 minutes will go by, and I'm like, wait, I was listening to one podcast that was like a heartbreaking story about like a Kosovoan refugee. And all of a sudden I'm like bounced to like a comedy podcast talking about like someone's dad's like hysterectomy, like, ulcer. And I'm like, how did we get here? Like the middle is just completely gone because I've been like cleaning the oven for 10 minutes. And I'm like, wait, how did we get from here to here? Because I have no recollection of the middle. Yeah.
I should start doing that with audiobooks. The 1 1/4 speed. I guess it depends. I don't know. How are you?
You know?
I do know.
Ooh, living the dream. I don't know whose dream. Someone else's dream. Live the dream. Yeah, but I've never gotten more text messages than I did yesterday, June 24th, from people soliciting me for $7. If I just have $7, we can defeat this. And it's like, all right.
what I'm throwing out today might ring true to how you were feeling yesterday. So yeah, it's a weird time. You know what's crazy is that I've got people, like friends who like live in California along with me, who are like putting out on Instagram like, I have space in my house and I can afford 1 round trip flight per month for anyone who needs help. Like basically like if you need an abortion, I'll take care of you. And I'm like, damn, that's really cool of people. I can't afford that or have the space, but I'm like, damn, that's cool.
And here's the thing, I appreciate and love everyone doing that, but there's also so many networks that have, like, there are so many of those systems that are already in place that we should just be putting that energy and effort into, and not just like there are so many networks in place that are doing that, and we should be funding them because they have the infrastructure and so much more resources and knowledge about how those things can work and the legal protections to help. And it's like, it's so nice when I see people saying, hey, if anybody needs a manicure, my state still has legal manicures. I'll happily tell you, I'll help you get any kind of manicure. Like it's awesome. I love seeing those posts on social media, or if somebody wants to come camping, my state house still has legal camping. Right. I'll show you all the good camping spots in my state. Awesome. And I love it. But I've just seen so many posts from people that have been doing this work for like 30 years that are like, thank you, but it's super important to donate the time and resource to the networks that have systems in place already, rather than just open your own kind of network. So I'm like, I don't want to like poo anyone's bad ideas or good intentions or good ideas, but I'm like, let's funnel these resources and these efforts into something that has infrastructure, has legal protections, has resources in place, and kind of knows what they're doing, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know,
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both. Who knows?
Yeah,
because I don't trust anything or anyone.
Nope.
Or myself.
Nope.
Everything is fucked. Hey, why are you trash?
So I was having dinner with a family member, and he's a younger recent college grad, and he said, "Hey, do you remember when you wore a legalized crystal meth shirt to Disneyland?"
I know that shirt.
And I said, here's the thing. I don't remember wearing it to Disneyland. Not saying I didn't do it. Sounds like something I would have done 10 to 11 years ago. I just don't remember doing it. Well, my grandmother, my Nana, was at the dinner table, and she was like, "What?" And so then I had to give the context of there was a brand called American Apparel that manufactured its clothing in downtown LA. And their whole shtick was that they, bought materials, paid a living wage in Los Angeles, and, manufactured clothing in America. And they were also donated and helped with funds, and had a very distinct font, and did a campaign for legalize gay. Very distinct font. And so I spoofed them and made my own, in that same font, legalized crystal meth shirt, which I thought was funny. And it is. Objectively, I think it's funny. And
it was a funny shirt. I liked it.
A funny shirt. I guess I wore it to Disneyland on one occasion at least. And my grandmother was like, "Oh, Erica." Again, I don't remember doing this. I have a poor memory. Not saying I didn't do it. Sounds like something I would have done.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't remember doing it. And I was telling Winston, and he was like, "I would have made you go back and change shirts." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "I'm never one to tell someone what to do with their bodies, especially women. But if you would have made the magic go away for a child, I would have told you to take that shirt."
Oh my God.
I was like,
I guess I wasn't thinking about the kids that go to Disneyland. I was just thinking about giving the finger to the Disney Corp. And I was like, yeah. But then, yeah, I guess there are a lot of kids there who'd be like, what is that?
Yeah. I was like, well, that's a difficult conversation between you and your parent that you're about to have. And you're about to learn about irony. But yeah,
Is that what Uncle Ron died of?
Yeah. Why does she want a legal? Yeah. Yeah, it was very fun. I was like, hey, again, sounds like something I would do. Don't doubt that I did it. Don't remember doing it, but thank you for the memory. And we all had a good laugh about it. But and then I was like, and their CEO turned out to be a sex pest. Anyway, good intentions, bad brand, burned it all down. But anyway, legalized crystal meth. And I still have like a cutoff version of that shirt floating around somewhere. So yeah, that's why I'm trash. I stole magic from some little child at Disneyland by wearing that shirt.
Someone was bound to do it anyways.
You're right. Yep. A burnt churro or legalized crystal meth could just steal the magic out of Disneyland instantly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And why are you trash, my dear?
So I went to Seattle last weekend to visit family, which is nice. Just in like a general statement, like, hey, everyone in Seattle, you're mean. My family doesn't live in Seattle. They live in a different city, but we spent some time in Seattle, and every like interaction I had with like a barista or like someone at a brewery or something, like a bartender, I'm like, you're fucking rude. This is coming from someone who lives in LA, where everyone's like, everyone in LA is an asshole. Like, no, sorry. They got us beat up in Seattle. Like, I understand it's very cool to live in Seattle, and also the weather fucking sucks, but like, don't take that shit out on me. Anyways, that's not why I'm trash. I just feel like I need to say it. And if you're from Seattle and you're nice, let me know. I'm sure I'm an asshole and I'm rude, but like all I did was order an iced tea, ma'am. Like, could you be fucking nicer? Anyways, so as we've talked about on the podcast before, me and Erica are now both bougie bitches who refuse to fly anything but first class. So we on the way there, me and Taylor were seeing if we could get upgraded to first class because, you know, he's like super into planes, and so he looks up like what seats are, I don't know, he's got his website, so he figures things out. But he was like, oh, there's a lot of open seats in first class, maybe I can try to get us an upgrade. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so he went to speak to the person at the desk, and she was like, maybe, I don't know. And so he was like, okay. She's like, we'll call your name. And so we were in a lounge, and I was like, and he came back and he was like, they're going to call our names if he's going to do it. And I was like, well, are they going to text us? Because we're in the lounge. We won't hear our names get called.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, but like, let's just finish our drinks and then we'll go out there. So we went out there, and the woman starts saying, any active duty military members, please come up to the desk and see me. And so Taylor's like, oh, they're giving the first class seats to the military people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, does that mean that we missed our name being called? Like, don't you have status on this airline? Like, and he was like, well, I don't know. And I was like, okay, I just feel like they should be giving the first class seats to the people with status before the people in the military, right? And he was like, I don't know. And then I stopped. I was like, Jesus Christ. My obsession with sitting in the first class seats has now made me so stupid and so trashy to like not think for 5 seconds that, hey, Cassandra, maybe someone who's in the military deserves the first class seat more than you do. So yeah, anyways, we didn't get bumped up to first. The first class was full of people who are actively and currently in the military, and I had to sit there and behind on the other side of the transparent curtain where I couldn't use the same bathroom, and they were getting all the free drinks in the service, and go, they deserve it more than you, but I just think it's funny that you said you would call her name. I don't get it, but it's fine. Anyways, I have a lot of respect for our troops. So I'm happy for them. I'm happy they got that first class seat or whatever.
Oh my goodness. Well,
does that make me a bad person?
I mean,
if you have to say I mean, then the answer is yes. I didn't like go up to the desk and argue and be like, hey, no, fuck them. They had coach seats. We're premium economy, us first.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't throw eggs at them or anything. Yeah. Okay.
All I did was think it.
Yeah. You didn't set a flag on fire in front of them in the airport. Yeah.
I didn't kneel during the damn anthem.
Ooh.
Just kidding.
Well, let's get into our first story. With a white woman anthem, something so sacred to them, from the LA Times, from the LATimes.com. California Highway Patrol seizes $200,000 in stolen Lululemon leggings.
Ugh, the police, our heroes.
Call it a tight squeeze. Investigators of the CHP have recovered more than $200,000 worth of the merchandise, and their border division of organized retail crime task force was alerted to 3 large boxes containing the stolen goods shipped from Ohio, destined for an apartment complex in the La Habra earlier this month.
Crazy. So it was stolen from a place in Ohio to then go to La Habra, where these people would just try to resell it or something.
I assume they were just gonna, resell it. And it's just so interesting. So 16 boxes, which contained 1,862 pairs of leggings.
Yeah, it was a value of $200,000 200,306. Wait, how do you say numbers? 200,003. $203,688. Wow, that was tough for me. What's interesting is, it was probably only worth like, what it was 1,861 stolen pieces. So it was probably worth like, I'm gonna say $2,000 total. Right. Like when you talk about how much they actually probably cost to make. But hey, you're paying for the Lululemon brand, so fine. $200,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that it was actually 100 or 1,863 pairs, but one of the officers was like, "Oh, my wife would kill me if she knew that I seized Lululemon leggings and didn't bring a pair home."
Gotta skim a little off the top. Otherwise, why are you a cop?
Yeah, it's like a, what do they call it when you're making whiskey and things like that? The angel's kiss, the things that evaporates off the top. I assume like if you're a police officer, there's always an angel's kiss of merchandise.
Sure. Is the angel's kiss the part where like if you drink it, you'll like go blind?
Oh shit. Because it's so concentrated.
Yeah, or like there's like something like when you're making moonshine. What the hell is that part called of the moonshine? But like it's like a moonshine part that makes you blind. See if internet brings that up.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. Apparently, you just gotta throw it out. I can't remember what the term is called. Hey, moonshiners, reach out.
So great granddaddy Clampett in the Clampett family cookbook, Granddaddy Clampett was a moonshiner, and we have a moonshine recipe with drawings of his still setup in our family cookbook.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you ever want to get into the shine business, I have a drawing of how the setup goes and a full moonshine recipe.
I don't know if you should make moonshine, Erica.
No, I'm just saying if one wanted to, for science sake, to experiment, not for consumption, not for distribution, just for science. Is that a legal loophole? I don't know.
I don't know.
We're not a lawyer. Allegedly. Mm-hmm. Nope, that doesn't apply here. Damn it. This is a comedy podcast. Everything we say here is for no, that doesn't apply. Shit. Anyway, next story. Abort. Nope.
You know what? We're gonna get
abandoned.
We're gonna get real drunk, I think, at my bachelorette party.
Oh yes. Yes.
And well, I think that we will be getting pretty drunk. I don't think that we're gonna be having the same experience as these people in our next story.
That's true. From ladbible.com. Lad stranded in Amsterdam after Bucks party buy bikes to complete 370-kilometer journey back to the UK.
So a Bucks party, I guess, is like a bachelor party, just, for our English listeners or American English, whatever listeners. I'm pretty sure I have COVID and I think I'm getting brain fog.
Oh no.
You can keep that in. This is happening, people. So a group of British lads on a bachelor party in Amsterdam had to become inventive to overcome some travel chaos and get themselves back to the UK.
So their flight back home to London Gatwick was canceled. And so they decided what they needed. So a 12-hour journey ensued, traveling to multiple destinations, buying 13 bikes, boarding a ferry at Calais, France, to Dover in the United Kingdom.
Okay. So I know that my bachelorette party is going to be like a lot more low key. So this is maybe even not a comparison, but dead ass, if we couldn't get a lift to take us 5 miles, I think I'd sooner rent a limousine than suggest that our little group get bikes.
I don't even know how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, is there a tandem? Would anyone like to tandem with me? I'll be in the back.
You can't tandem with someone who can't ride a bike, though.
I've tandemed with someone that can steer. I just did the pedaling.
Is the steering the problem? It's usually people's balance that's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know how to balance. Anyway,
so, okay, we got to get you a sidecar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that I'd love. What I want is an adult tricycle. One big wheel in the front, 2 steady wheels in the back.
They have those for like couriers and old people.
I know, I need to look into it. So essentially, the gentleman found that the best way getting home was to travel to Calais, France by train and board a ferry back home to the UK. So while docking, they realized that they couldn't board the ferry on foot. So, never to be deterred, they searched all afternoon looking for bikes to board the ferry. So they went to Facebook Marketplace, asking for people just on the street if they could buy their bikes off of them. So in just under 3 hours, 13 of them had secured 2 hand-wheelers and found their way home.
Yeah, so there was 14 guys. Only 13 of them could get bikes, and then one guy was able to hitchhike with someone who was in a car. I think that guy had it figured out. Was there more risk hitchhiking into someone's car while everyone else is having fun on the bikes? Yes, but at least you're not on a bike. They rode it says 370 kilometers, which what is that in miles? 370 kilometers that's 229 miles.
That's wild.
How don't these people have jobs?
Not in the fucking in Europe. You tell your job when you'll work. You set parameters. In France, they riot if they don't get 3 months vacation a year. You know what I mean? They're like, listen, motherfuckers, we'll put you to the guillotines once and we'll do it again if we don't get one more vacation day a year. You know what I mean? They take that shit seriously.
Oh, I wish we did the same.
I know. Speaking of, they have an army of people that will do it,
Mm-hmm.
Much like the gentleman in our next story from metro.co.uk.
I saw this guy on TikTok and I was like, I think this is bad.
Oh, it's real bad. Yeah.
There's a guy on TikTok who revealed that he's building a frog army in his back garden. There's a swamp or some shit near his house that he said dries up every year. And so all these frog eggs that get laid there, they die, because it dries up. So he decided to scoop up all the frog eggs and take them to a pond in his backyard to give them a chance to live. And he estimates that he's rescued 1.4 million tadpoles, and now they are growing into frogs into his frog army. But I don't know. It's pretty fucked up.
He has 1.9 million followers, and essentially he's not the only creator to mass breed frogs like this. If you search the hashtag frog army, it has over 400 million views on TikTok alone.
Yeah, people are doing this everywhere now, where they're scooping up a bunch of tadpoles and putting them in their swimming pools and stuff. These frogs don't just stay in your backyard. There was a video that he then deleted, but I saw it. And it was this neighbor that was having to move away because he walks up to his front door and there's frogs everywhere. Sir, are you okay? Why would you want to do this? And this is really bad for the environment. There's a reason, I don't know. It's just part of the circle of life for these tadpoles to get born and then dry up and die. Yes. All these frogs shouldn't be alive.
No. Now there's claims that the frog army might not even be real. So some people think that the video might not have even been filmed in the UK. So it's the footage seems nearly identical to a 2013 YouTube video entitled Lots of Frogs. Either way, don't fucking do this. It throws off the whole ecological system. Like, don't do this.
I mean, because like, look, even if it is fake, the people who are then replicating it, that's real life.
Yes.
You know, I dated someone for a long time who's from Louisiana, and when we were staying at his mom's place once, I remember being woken up in like the middle of the night, and I was like, what the fuck is all this noise? Frogs. Like out in the front of her place, like just, or their little pond or whatever, and these fuckers are loud.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I like frogs anymore.
No, they're so loud. Oh my God. Speaking of loud.
Yeah, holy shit. We had a lot of animal stories this week, so
buckle in, gang. We're on a wholesome animal kick.
It's you know what, I think everyone needs it.
Yes.
I know I needed it. Like Erica said, should we cut some of the animal stories? And I'm glad that we didn't, because this is just nicer. I don't have the space to talk about people.
No. From usatoday.com, New York State man arrested multiple times for having over 20 bird feeders.
Bird feeders, 20. That is a lot of fucking bird feeders.
So Waynes County Sheriff's Department arrested a 71-year-old resident of the village Cedars Point 3 times between May 26th and June 10th for feeding birds in a manner that violates a village ordinance.
This is in central New York near Lake Ontario, but the ordinance says you can't have more than 2 feeders on your property, and they need to be at least 5 feet from the ground. But this guy has 23 bird feeders, and they're on the ground in the front yard of his home. They're fucking everywhere, but they're not even real bird feeders. He's being accused of placing cookie sheets full of bird seeds and peanuts on the ground, which, I mean, what does he want? Like, he wants like a Snow White moment of like all the birds and stuff, and he's going to get it because all these other animals are coming too.
I had family in town, and we went out to the Santa Monica Pier, and we were just sitting there, and there was a pigeon man, like a man who had, all the pigeons on him and controlled it was just a pigeon man. And I was like, look, and he just would be like, go, my pretty, go, and like, fetch that necklace for me. I was like, what? How? No. Like, your birds that you help clean and control, yes, but just pigeons, the rats of the sky. I just don't understand it. All animals, I guess, deserve love, but I just don't understand it. Anyway,
I don't know if this was like just a plot point in like the show Hey Arnold, or like in also just many things, but this whole like concept of people in New York using pigeons to like deliver notes is kind of crazy, because I'm like, how does the pigeon know where to go? And also, how do you get to this point? Like, how do you know to try to train a pigeon at all? You know what? I used to work with someone, and like, you would hear in the background on the Zoom calls, you would hear how many birds she had.
I love that you started whispering as if she's like sitting one cubicle over, and you're like, listen, Diane can kind of hear, so I'm going to talk quieter, but
I don't want to talk shit. Like, do I think that having a bird as a pet is good? No. Yeah. But like, people do it, and fucking whatever. But it would just be crazy, because you'd be like in a Zoom call, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah. Like, background, you're like, this girl's got a lot of birds.
I used to work with a lady, and my favorite thing is to somehow be invited to a coworker's home to truly capture like what their crazy is in some way, because everyone has it. You just have to like, you're at work and you're like, okay, they put creamer in their Coca-Cola. Okay, that's it's a weird work thing. But then like, if you get to go to a coworker's home, you go, oh, they have miniatures of this franchise. That's their great. Like you truly get to capture. So I knew this coworker had a bird and I was like, all right. Then I went to her home one day at lunch and it was me and another coworker. And I was like, oh, we get to see her crazy. We get to be with the bird. And like she let the bird out. Like we got to be like with the bird in the home, not out of the cage. It was, if you can go to a coworker's home and truly capture their crazy in their element, it is amazing. But yeah, I worked with a bird lady too. It's great. Yeah.
What you're describing about entering a coworker's home is my nightmare. You and I have some things in common, and you and I have some things that we don't have in common. And this is not one of those things. Holy shit. I don't even like to fucking spend more than 10 minutes after work sometimes talking to people. Like the older I'm getting, my social anxiety is bananas. So you're describing this and I'm thinking about it and I'm like, I don't want to go to someone's house. I don't want to see the bird.
I find myself I feel like I'm like an early English explorer, like going on their first safari, like a little the hat and like khaki outfit where I'm like, oh dear boy, today we're going to go into a home of a co-worker. What shall we observe? And like observing like a rhinoceros for the first, like a white person observing like a rhinoceros for the first time and being like, oh my God, documenting. We've got to tell the university about this. Like, that's how I feel when I get to see a coworker's home. I don't want to hang out with them. I don't want to do a team dinner, but I want to go into their home and see what their crazy is,
In this weird old English village that you've built up where you're the exploring person who takes a young boy with you everywhere.
Well, he's my scribe. I dictate and he scribes. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm the scary person who had all these accolades and like, oh, she's brilliant, but he doesn't come out anymore. Like at the top of a castle, like. And I also have a scribe, but like she might not be there like because she wants to, and like they're like, please, we need you to come out. You're the only person who can solve this problem. And I'm like, no, I won't. I don't know anything anymore. It's like something bad happened to me, and you're like, what's her story? And like we're just like the opposite, but together we come together and we like cure something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, speaking of bird ladies, let's get into our next story from metro.co.uk.
Oh, yeah. So the police, smashed down a door. Wow. On brand. Looking for a woman who's in distress because they keep hearing an elderly woman saying, help, help, help. And you know what they fucking find inside?
A parrot.
A stupid ass parrot.
They rushed to a woman's home on Wednesday evening after reports of someone in distress. They kicked down the door and Wild Green Sutton Call. That's the most English fucking location. Hold on, let me retake that. They kicked down the door in the house in Wild Green Sutton Coldfield. Wild spelled W-Y-L-D-E. Sutton Coldfield, and ran inside. I'm going to call them constables, not even police. The constables.
Where was the woman yelling? At Wild Green, Sutton Coldfield. The very same? Number 2.
Number 2, yeah. The houses are just like single digits.
2 Wild Green, Sutton Coldfield. Get there at once.
Oh my God. So they found no sign of a female. So they tweeted a picture of the officers with the bird, because soon after the woman entered the home and was like, what the hell are you doing in my house? And they were like, we were coming to save you.
Why the fuck does your bird only know how to say help?
Yes. Oh my God. I truly do enjoy the things parrots have learned to mimic. That is a true gift of the animal kingdoms. Have parrots ever solved a murder? Crime. Parrot solved crime? Question mark. Ooh.
There's
God.
Ooh. There's a guy on TikTok who's got a parrot that speaks Spanish and just kind of walks around, and like this parrot has the same voice as my great aunt Fina.
Mm-hmm.
So like whenever I get this parrot on my page, it makes me happy. It's just like this parrot bumbling around in incoherent Spanish. What are the voice like this? It's cute. And we actually had a parrot. Yeah, we filmed a short film a long time ago at my old apartment in Echo Park, which you wore legalized crystal meth shirt while you were in it on your small part on that. And we had a lot of takes interrupted because we had a neighbor with parrot, and the parrot kept laughing.
Mm-hmm. Well, an African gray parrot named Bud in 2022 was sent to live with Martin's ex-wife after Martin's ex-wife, Martin.
Who's Martin?
Well, Martin's ex-wife, Christina Keller, told how the parrot started remembering and reenacting the argument from the day of the murder and witnessed and reenacted a murder story and helped put him away. Has a parrot, yeah, and it was used in court. It's the only example of a parrot testifying in court, and it was Bud. And it was the murder of his owner, Martin Durham, and the murderer, Glenda Durham, the victim's wife. And so his ex-wife was sent the parrot, and then it was used in court in the year of our Lord 2022.
Anyway. Okay, look, if she murdered her husband, then it's a good thing that she's in jail. But I'll tell you what, if I was her, I'd be like, this is fucking bullshit.
I'm like, that parrot has had an agenda against me from day one. I accidentally gave it the wrong seedlings, and it has been setting me up for murder ever since. I clipped its toenails too aggressively, and it's like, Glenda did murder. And it's like, no, I didn't. It's been trying to set me up from day one.
That parrot watches CSI every night.
Yes.
Please don't kill me. I'm going to kill you. Please don't kill me. I'm going to kill you. God, ridiculous. Can you imagine being on the jury for that too? I honestly, I would be down for that. I'm never happy when I get jury duty, but if I was on a jury and they were like, it's time to bring in the parrot, I'd be like, and then imagine then you have to be quiet about it too. You can't tell anybody if I wouldn't be able to tell everyone. Like, I'm on a jury right now and I can't tell you about this, but like, honestly, it's a fucking parrot.
They'd be like, juror number 8, please stop smiling and giggling.
I would be tickled. I'm like, pick your jaw up off the floor and try to be professional. And I'm like, there's a parrot.
There's a fucking parrot that you just swore under oath.
Your star witness is a fucking parrot. Like, you pick your jaw up.
Yeah. Oh my God. The other most ridiculous trial to me is, did you hear about the Beanie Baby divorce?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
At the height of Beanie Babies, a couple was getting divorced and their assets was a Beanie Baby collection. And so a judge literally in court made them put all the Beanie Babies, and then they had to divide which ones they wanted to keep in the. So it's like, oh no, I want the Princess Di. Oh no, I want Fudgy the Whale. And like they divided the Beanie Babies, and there's like a photo of them like on the ground, like picking the Beanie Babies and putting them into their pile. And I'm like, when people ask me like why I don't want to get married. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Say that again. Say that again.
Objection. You can't have Cassie the Collie and the 4th of July America McDonald's edition bear.
And people are like, Erica, why don't you want to get married? And I'm like, you tell me. Anyway.
Because when it comes down in the nitty gritty.
Oh boy.
How stupid do they feel now, huh?
Yes. Well, I mean, Beanie Babies might be worth more than some stocks. Anyway, speaking of stocks and companies, let's get into our next story from news.yahoo.com.
Walking on hot coals. A company event goes wrong.
Walking barefoot across hot coals, an ancient religious ritual popularized in recent years as a corporate team-building exercise, has once again bonded a group of coworkers through a shared suffering of burned feet.
So this is 25 employees of a Swiss ad agency, and they were injured walking over hot coals in Zurich. There's 10 ambulances, 2 emergency medical teams, and police officers from multiple agencies were deployed to help, and 13 people were briefly hospitalized. What was different about this that doesn't happen in every other hot coal walk?
Well, the issue is, I think the coals might have been too hot. Like, you can walk. So essentially, the secret is concentration. Either the mind, body, and environment are perfectly in harmony in all sequences, and cause and effect are simultaneous, or they are not, and nothing will go right. So basically, the science is that you can walk across coals that are 1,000 degrees are safe to walk on for 20 feet or more, adding that he walked on coals at a temperature for 495 feet without getting a blister. But you can't, a brisk walk on your bare feet comes into contact with coals for just a second, which is not enough time for the heat to be transmitted painfully from coals to human flesh. Both the coals and skin have vastly lower thermal conductivity than, for instance, metal. But mistakes can lead to injuries. So curling your toes and trapping the coal between them, walking in coals that are too hot, or choosing the wrong type of wood, since they're getting hotter than the other, performing a fire walk on a beach where your feet might be sinking into sand, those typically lead to injuries.
So, I mean, honestly, like, this feels a big hot coal walk, just trying to gaslight these people and be like, well, you didn't do it right.
I just love the concept of like, okay, guys, what are we going to do? And it's like, sell Viagra to people in Jakarta. And it's like, okay, how are we going to do it? By the 25 of us bonding together and walking across hot coals. And it's like, great. Like an ad agency walking across I love corporate team building stuff. It's like, no, like, buy everyone a cocktail, have a trivia event, talk about your pet as a child, like
do a dress fall, like
yeah, break someone's back. Don't walk across hot coals,
you know, or whatever. Just fire up a good game of Zip Zap Zop and just like nobody needs to do anything like this. Mm-hmm. So silly. I mean, went home to their partner too and said, well, my feet are burned because we did the hot coal walk. And then their partner was like, yeah, doy.
Yeah. So the key is to not stroll, run, or hop across the fire, but walk across it in a steady, quick military step-like clip. So anyway, if you ever come across a hot coal walk, a steady military-like clip will lead to success.
Copy that.
So Widmer said, it could have been a great event.
See, I'm saying there's gaslighting here. Well, that would have been really fun if you guys wouldn't have done it wrong. Mm-hmm. I had really great intentions, and there was a lot of really great stuff that would have happened, and we would have been really bonded, but you guys all fucked it up because you walked wrong.
Yeah. He's the organizer of the event in Zurich, Tommy Widmer. It could have been a great event.
Sorry. Speaking of a great event, from yourtango.com, a video of a woman mowing her lawn while a bride walks down the aisle causes mixed reactions. I
don't know how I feel about this. So
I know how I fucking feel about this. But carry on.
A viral video shows a woman mowing her lawn as the wedding begins. So a bride was, walking down the aisle accompanied by the sound of a motor, and the entire ceremony was disrupted.
Yeah, so this woman wanted to get married in her like family home's front yard. I guess they had a killer front yard, whatever. Who fucking cares? And then the neighbor was like mowing her lawn the whole time. And apparently there was some people from the wedding like trying to go up to this woman and be like, hey, can you cut it out? And she wouldn't stop. She was super rude. And they commented it was going to get violent. So we just tried to ignore her and not feed into it to make it any worse. Violent? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, she had a weapon. They had anger. So I can see someone in, I can see someone I know getting angry enough at someone mowing their lawn during a wedding. I can see violence happening.
I mean, so they tried to figure out like if there was like some old beef and stuff, but apparently according to the family and everything, like that there was no beef between her and the neighbor. They just, they just, she's just being kind of a jerk. I don't know. So like, I know how I feel about it, which is that this woman is a fucking asshole and that she should have just waited to mow her lawn. And, seem to be the mixed reactions online are people being like, I have a busy life. Like sometimes we can't, just like, if I have to mow my lawn, I have to mow my lawn or whatever the fuck. And it's like, I think it's just people who don't like to be told what to do. And then they have to like be contrarian about it, of being like, ugh, this fucking wedding is happening. So now I can't mow my lawn. Weddings are like 30 fucking minutes. And also it's not every day. It's not every weekend. You can't wait 30 minutes. Even if you don't like these people, you can't wait 30 minutes or whatever and just mow your lawn a little bit later. Oh, it pisses me off.
I listen, I get it. I understand, but also I understand. I get it. But sometimes I'm just saying, you got married in your home, not a designated venue that can control the elements and sound, and your home is an open air. That lady might have had a schedule. She might have said, this is the only window I have to mow my lawn. Then I got to get the nails done. Then I got to pick up the parrot from the groomer. Like, she might have had a whole day. And this just might have been, step 1 of 7. And I don't know. I
roll with the punches. That's what I say. You got step 1 of 7, but then you're saying, well, step 1's going to interrupt this wedding. And I don't really want to be a fucking piece of shit and do that. I guess I'm just going to have to wait, let my lawn grow out a little bit longer. And if the HOA's got something to say about it, I'll blame the neighbor for their wedding. It just feels, maybe the neighbors could have I'm sure that they told everybody, hey, by the way, we're going to do a wedding at this time. But it just feels like rude and shitty. And,
Yeah. Well, I wonder, because it says like no conflicts or arguments are known, but it's also like, well, maybe something was known to her, but not to you. You're like, maybe something had been piling up for years. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna let that go. And then this was just the dam, like the levee broke on the dam.
I can't imagine having that much petty anger towards someone to do that, I guess.
Oh my God. I mean, if it was my wedding, if it was a wedding I was attending, would I have maybe I would have come to violence on their behalf, but I don't know. I'm just conflicted. I'm conflicted because it's like, it's her fucking property. But the sound makes it everyone's. I don't know. I'm very conflicted.
Like, what do you can't, if you have a wedding on your front lawn and a fucking FedEx truck pulls up behind you, you had the wedding on your front lawn. That's your problem.
Right.
But
right.
If your next door neighbor is choosing to be a fucking asshole and drown out your wedding because they have to mow their lawn at 4 p.m., start a ceremony, fuck that. I would be so fucking mad. Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's why I'm getting married in a venue.
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of a venue and things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
Let's get into our next story from CNN.com, sent in by friend of the pod, Adam Cantley.
Thank you.
Woman becomes New York legend after booting a possum from a bar.
She's the toast of NYC for single-handedly ejecting an opossum from a Brooklyn bar.
It's an Alaska woman, and she just rolled up her sleeve and took care of business. Sarah Fulton removed a possum from Timken's Bar in Greenpoint after the marsupial accidentally ran into a crowded establishment.
He didn't mean to be there.
He didn't. Maybe he just wanted a shot. It's fucking hard out in them streets for a marsupial in New York. No, thank you.
Absolutely. So this woman who grew up in Alaska, I think that's important for the story because you're like, who in Brooklyn would be brave enough to handle a possum? No shots firing at the people of Brooklyn. I wouldn't do that either. But yeah, she just rolled down her sleeve and went over and grabbed it by its, the nape of its neck where it would get carried by its mama, and kicked it out.
So people in the bar were like, was that a dog? Is that a rat? And she looked at her friend and said, that's too big to be a rat. It has to be an opossum.
Imagine looking at a possum and going, is that a dog? That would be the ugliest dog.
So she says, I'm from Alaska and I used to go camping with black bears hanging out on my campsite. I think it was just instinctual. I just went up to him and I was like, hey, I know you're afraid. So she said it would be the least painful solution to the issue. So, and everybody just lost their minds. We couldn't believe it was happening. So the bartender grabbed her phone, didn't know who to call. And yeah, so anyway, she got a hero's welcome when she returned to the bar and everyone was bought her rounds and everyone's like, you're a hero, you're a celebrity. And she's like, what? No, it's just not something you see every day.
I'm just from Alaska.
We'll post the video on our social. It's pretty incredible. And I feel a kindred spirit to this, Sarah, because one time while working at camp, an orientation camp for my university, I caught a possum with my bare hands.
Ugh.
To be fair, I took off the shirt I was wearing. I had a tank top underneath. I took off my t-shirt. I tossed it on top of the possum and then I picked up the possum on its, like I two-handed flipped it up on its back and belly to the sky with two hands, t-shirt picked up a possum. And then I was like, oh shit, what do I do now? I'm holding a possum with my bare hands.
It wasn't trying to like escape.
No, it just was like, all right, well now you got me. And so I put it in a box. Because I was like, well, what do you do once you catch a possum? You naturally put it in a big cardboard box. And then I was like, well, I caught this possum and now I put it in a cardboard box. Again, it was like 4:00 in the morning. My thinking skills were impaired.
Why did you catch it at all?
I think just because I could. I don't know.
Erica.
I've been sleep deprived. I've been burning both ends of the stick, staying up late, getting up early. I was working this camp and free labor and volunteer labor. And I was like, well, now I caught the possum. Now I put it in a box. Now what do you do? So then I was,
you release it.
No, well, I put it in the director's cabin. So there's 4 directors. And so what I did is I opened their door and I pushed the cardboard box in to their cabin and then shut the door.
Them?
I fully pranked them. And then it wiggled around and then, got out. And then they were like, what the hell? And then it just, went in their cabin for a while. And then they were like trying to sleep still. And they were like, God damn it, possum.
They tried to sleep with the possum in where the fuck, what swamp did you go to college in?
They were just so mad. They were like, leave us alone, possum. And they were just mad. And then, the story got out. And so by breakfast that morning, I walked in and everyone clapped when I walked in because the story of me catching a possum and then pranking the directors had gotten around. And so then I went back into the cabin, caught the possum again, put it back in the box. And then I took it to the edge of the woods and released it. And here's why I'm trash and here's why I'm a very bad person. I did not know. I think it was so easy to catch because when I released it, it slowly waddled away. And then I saw that its belly was very low hanging. I think it was pregnant. And that's why it was so docile and easy to catch. I caught a pregnant possum, I think. And maybe traumatized it. It was horrible. But yeah, I caught a pregnant opossum with my bare hands. But yeah, I caught a possum with my bare hands. So Sarah, I get you. Yeah.
I Feels like a jackass stunt. Like when they would like throw snakes at each other and you're like, this is fucking crazy. And like feels like it's writing a pretty gray line of maybe this is fucked up.
It was fucked up. I didn't know it was pregnant when I caught it. It was dark. It was 4:00 in the morning. I caught a possum. And then when I released it in the morning, in the light of day, I was like, oh, it's walking so slow. Oh, its belly so low to the, oh my God.
I don't know how these directors too, like, we're like, there's a possum in this room? No, fuck. And then roll back over and go to sleep. What the fuck?
Amen. Yeah. Hey, Cass, are you ready?
I guess. I'm still kind of reeling from this. I just sometimes I don't realize just how farm you are.
I mean, I'm not the hero of that story. I'm just, I was just a participant in,
I'm not calling people who are farm and like bad. It's just you and I have different lives. What a beautiful thing that we came together.
Yes.
Anyways, yes, I'm ready.
It's time for the dumpster fire of the week.
Oh my God. Hell hath no fury like an elephant set on revenge.
So this story comes to us from multiple sources, but we'll be pulling mainly from the NewYorkPost.com.
A 70-year-old woman in India was trampled to death by an elephant, and then later her corpse was attacked and trampled again at her funeral by the same elephant.
Police said Maya Murma had been fetching water from a well in the eastern Indian state of Odisha on Thursday, back in June, several weeks ago, when an elephant came barreling toward her, according to the print India. The tusked pachyderm had apparently escaped from the Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary, which is located in a neighboring state.
So here's the thing. I think we should just I don't want to bury the lead here.
Mm-hmm.
This woman allegedly say that this woman was involved with poachers, that she would throw rocks at the mama elephant to distract her, and then poachers would steal her babies.
Mm-hmm. Now
that might be a myth, though.
Yes, here's the story. Okay, so this story has been kind of floating on social media. I think it's kind of insane. I think what's kind of trashy is that this story is somewhat unverified in itself. Like Snopes has done a report on it. Everything's covered it. It's been huge on social media, but the woman's age has changed. This name and this last name it's somewhat of a common last name. So it's there are multiple reports. The story varies from newspaper to newspaper. Nothing is 100% confirmed. The poaching story has not been printed. That's just coming from reports on the ground. That's this story is kind of taken a life on its own. And that it's kind of are we team elephant in this circumstance? 100%. But is this story true?
Yeah, this might be an untrue story. It seems like the story that everybody wants is that this woman who was helping poachers forever, that this mama elephant came back to exact her revenge, trampled her to death. Then this woman had a funeral and the elephant came back, trampled the funeral, and the elephant brought some friends and or the herd, I guess. And that herd, they trampled this lady's whole village and no one else got hurt, but her house, everything is not good. That's the story that.
Oh, I'm sorry. A goat was killed in the process.
Sorry.
A goat was harmed.
A goat got killed. Oh. So that's what the story is that everybody wants it to be. And until it's proven to be false, which I bet it is, that's how we're going to report it.
Yeah. Again, some of the stories are people had to sleep in trees until the elephants left and I feel like some of this, it might be just due to the remoteness of the place. And like, people have asked, like, the state, the police, like the sanctuary for like verification for stories. And like, a lot of it has been unverified and no confirmation and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, damn, do I want that? Is it, I mean, is it sad that this woman and her lost her life? Is that these villagers paid the price for Maya's possible involvement in this? Of course. Should we not fuck with animals like that? 100%. But is it kind of like fun to be like, yeah, this is what happens when you do that? This elephant came back and specifically made a point. It killed you, and then it came back at your funeral.
Killed you again.
Killed you again and made a point. It's like fun, and it's like the internet took a life in the story of itself, but it is unverified. There's so many stories, like reports are coming out that are conflicting, and it's like the dates, the ages, the story, like everything is kind of like, what is the truth? But I think what's really fun is that there's been a lot of interest and talk about elephants. Happy the elephant at the Bronx Zoo was recently denied human rights. There's just been a lot more interest in elephants. I've been collecting petty elephant stories, as I call them.
What are you talking about? Happy got denied human rights.
So there's
Happy a woman?
No, Happy is an elephant.
That was a joke.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah.
We don't need to hear Happy's story.
Yeah. Anyway,
I want to talk about this other one that you have here.
Yes. So there's a wonderful Twitter account called David Attenborough, who has a podcast called We Out Here. And he told a story on Twitter that said, since we're talking about petty ass elephants, a handful of years back, I was working at a zoo that had a handful of female African elephants. The most dominant one was Leah, Leha, or Lea. Who cares? She ain't reading this. Homegirl Leah hated dogs. She beefed hard with them, and no one quite knew why. Was it trauma? Was it racism? Who's to say? Well, anytime her ass saw a service dog, she started touching the ground with her trunk. Passerby wouldn't know why, but her keepers knew what was up. Leah's on her bullshit again. Every day or so, when keepers maintained her exhibit, they had a special side project. Check the mud, checking for dirt. For what? For stones. Leah had a mean-ass throw. If she found a stone, she couldn't bop it from 20 to 30 yards away with that rude-ass underhand elephants do. One afternoon, the head keeper of their team is talking to some people outside the exhibit and notices a service dog down the way. Dude looked at Leah and sees her doing her unruly thing, and he's like, don't do it, ma'am. And nah, Leah's on her bullshit. So Leah's like, fine, and doesn't throw it at the dog. Instead, she knocks his out ass with a headshot for 20 feet away. Turns out she's holding onto that rock for just this occasion. He suffered a mild concussion and a black eye or something, but was otherwise fine. Moral of the story, elephants stay ready for some, so y'all better get ready. Anyway.
I mean,
yeah.
Imagine, thank God that they were monitoring this elephant so that it wasn't attacking service dogs. But
also, some of the replies to this tweet thread were some of the most fun I've ever had, but most of the comments were like, you better make sure Leah's not reading this thread and that you know how to spell her fucking name. He also told another anecdote that there was another female elephant who spent all of her time sharpening her tusk. So the zoo, on any object she could, she would sharpen them. So the keepers would spend all day dulling them because she hated Leah and would ram Leah and try to hurt her all the time. Leah had no beef with this other female elephant, but this other female elephant had beef with Leah. And so anything she could, she'd just be sharpening her tusk to hurt Leah and ram her. And I just think the elephant I've been collecting elephant stories, and I just think that's really fun. And we should leave these giant pachyderms alone because they're gorgeous. And you should never ride a fucking elephant. Never ride an elephant. That hurts them. Anyway, that's the story everyone's been talking about the elephant and the woman in the funeral. So
now we know.
Now we know.
Maybe we should let them out of zoos.
Oh boy, don't get me started on that.
Although I'm not gonna lie to you, a zoo's pretty fun.
I know.
It's fun.
Yeah. Cass, what are you hoarding?
I'm hoarding a book because I'm fucking better than everybody else. I think did I hoard it? The Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, or maybe I brought it up on a different podcast, but I'm doing this with my cousin. It's the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I guess they do it every year. So I'm following the 2022 one, and I've already read 7 books this year. I'm like, holy shit, look at me. Like, it's been a long time since I've been reading this much, so it's been fun. But I read the new Sally Rooney joint. That's what I'm hoarding. It's called Beautiful World, Where Are You? Sally Rooney wrote Normal People. She wrote Conversations with Friends. Both of them have been turned into TV shows. Normal People is a very sexy TV show.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched Conversations with Friends yet, but that was another book that she wrote and that I read. But Beautiful World, Where Are You? It's just good. It's just fucking good. You know, obviously like murder mysteries. There's all kinds of great books out there, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever. And then there's this whole other genre of love stories. And love stories are fine, but a lot of the times they're just really, in my opinion, really, really fucking cheesy and like predictable and just all that. And Sally Rooney does something else where, is she writing a love story? Yeah, that's kind of ultimately what it ends up being. But it's just like real life, because love stories happen in real life, Erica. But they're not convenient and they're not predictable and they're not whatever. And so it's just fucking real, and it's really good. I think she's a really good writer. Yeah, if you're looking for a book, go for Beautiful World, Where Are You? Yeah, it's good stuff. There's a little bit of sex in it, just warning you.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. It's a good book though. Erica, what are you hoarding?
I'm hoarding the film RRR.
Okay.
It is a film. It's an Indian film that is available on Netflix right now. It is one of the most fantastical things I've ever seen in my entire life. It is out of the Tollywood, not Bollywood. There's like really distinct film industries within India. So it's a Tollywood film. It's one of the most expensive films ever produced in India.
Oh my God.
And it is the fictional story of 2 actual real world Indian revolutionaries. And the RRR was the working title that stood for the director, and 2 of the actors' initials. And then they kind of said, no, you know what? Let's make it the actual film. And then they kind of said, oh, this is going to stand for something. And that's the thing. But it is an incredible, it's like it's an epic, it's an epic action drama, and it is fucking insane. Like some of the most, it's like a bromance. It's like a real life superhero. Like when fucking Steve Rogers holds a helicopter, or The Rock in like a Fast and the Furious, like stops a car with his hands. It's like, that's the strength that these 2 characters have. And they're fighting against like the British imperialism, like set in the 1920s. And it is incredible. It's like 3 hours long. It feels like it's 15 minutes. And you're like, I need more.
How long is it?
It's like 3 hours long.
Right. And you want more.
Oh, I could not get enough.
Cool.
I could not get enough. It's truly incredible. It has one dance number in the middle of the film that I can't get. I've watched it 15 times. Zeb from the Jay Creek Cloggers, the gentleman that I was hoarding, the clogger that I'm so obsessed with, I sent an email to their PR team and organizer, and I said, hey, this dance number is getting really popular because people are doing the dance like on TikTok. They're doing it all over. People are memorizing it and then doing it at theatrical, like in theaters, like when the movie's playing, like in America and all over the world, people are like getting up in the middle and doing the dance when the dance number happens in the film. And I was like, oh, this is getting really popular. It'd be great. Maybe if like Zeb and the gang took did a little bit of
America.
Not to. And she was like, oh, thanks so much. We'll check it out. It looks really fun. And I was like, oh yeah, it'd be really cool, Anyway, it's just like it's about like friendship and but also conflict and like fuck the British Empire, and it is so cool. It's like Rom and Beam, these like two real life like Indian revolutionaries, but it's like a fictional story of like their before life of what they did. It's so good. It's so goddamn good. Anyway,
it's on Netflix.
It's available on Netflix. You could also there's a that has like a dubbed version in but the original language, there's a subscription service that you can watch it in Telugu, the original language that was shot in, but it has like Hindi dubs and other dubs on Netflix for free. But it's so good. It's so goddamn good. I just can't, your mind will be blown. It's so fucking good. Anyway, RRR, watch it. Anyway.
Cool.
Yeah. What are you throwing away?
Democrats asking for money. Wait, don't fucking email me. Don't you fucking email me. Don't you fucking text me and ask me for $20 or $15 or $7 or however many fucking dollars you seem to want right now. Fuck you. Do something. You already have some power. You're already in office. I already donated money. Until you can do something, I'm not going to donate any money anymore, because here's the thing. People's who I don't agree with are getting an awful lot done right now. And they have, from my understanding, the same amount of power as you do. So why are all these terrible things that I don't agree with happening, but nothing that's good and that's promised to me is happening? Are we being too polite, or what's happening? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. This is not a political podcast, but boy, oh boy, I find myself, I get like a fucking text being like, this is blah, 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 so-and-so person, like, donate here for $20. We really need you. Like, this is Joe Biden, blah, blah, whoever the fuck. I know it's not really them texting me, but like, I want to just respond like a paragraph of being like, you're a fucking joke. Fuck you. Like, do something. I'm like commenting on Kamala's like Instagram posts now. Like, I'm getting mad. And so just stop asking me for money, because you're fucking useless. You're worthless. I don't want to give my money to these people who aren't doing shit anymore. Bye. Fuck you.
Yeah.
What are you throwing out?
Well, on Friday, June 24th, 2022, I learned that one cannot privately have an elephant in the state of California. And I don't want or need an elephant right now. I just want the right to have an elephant in the future. And I don't really think that it should be left up to the states to determine if I have the right to have an elephant. I just want to be able to privately have an elephant if I want one. And California is a state where I cannot have an elephant. And elephant ownership is legal in some states and not legal in other states. Same with primate ownership. And I don't think it should be a state issue. I think it should be a right of mine to have an elephant if I want a fucking elephant at any point. But yeah, that's what I'm throwing out. I don't think it should be a state issue. I think it should just be an inherent right to have an elephant if I want an elephant. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, that's just really set me off. Doing a lot of research about elephants lately, and I want a menagerie, a private menagerie, and can't have one because California doesn't let you legally own elephants.
Make sure to delete your period tracking app.
Yes,
you're looking into getting an elephant.
Delete the data. Make them delete the data from it, then delete the app. Yes. Yeah. Anyway.
Scary times.
Yep. But you can always find this podcast at Trashy Trashy Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And you can find us at trashytrashypodcast.com or at trashytrashypodcast@gmail.com and tell us why you're trash, or if you'd like us to cover a story.
Where do they find you specifically?
Me specifically, you can find me at Iconic Erica Curry, where I will be posting any elephant fact that I can, because I am now a pachyderm fan. And you can also find me on the Twitter at Gilly Gal, where I will just be fear mongering and Woo. Yeah. At replying our politicians. And yeah, that's Gilligal or at Iconic Erica Curry. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Cass Cardenas on Instagram and Twitter, or outside of your local Trader Joe's asking for California to secede. Mm-hmm. A petition. Also on the Nooner podcast. And thanks to everyone who leaves reviews and tells your friends about Trash Trashy. We really appreciate it. We love you. And yeah.
Yay. All right. Hey, Cass.
What's going on?
Stay garbage.
You stay garbage, girl.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye.